Good old Tabitha.
Tabby,
StreamYard has access to your
Tabby.
oh, go live.
I am echoing. Are you muted? And we're live. So, hey guys, we're having a little technical moment, but we're not. Okay. Oh, we're live. Okay. Hey family. Good evening. Just please bear with us as we are working through a technical issue we're not working with a technical issue. We're good. So I'm sorry, we don't have a song for you this week. We don't have we just really bumming it this week. We don't have a show, movie, another to talk about this week. So we're gonna go ahead and
No, I do have a show to talk about.
oh well, go ahead then.
Trying to share to my page. So this week, the Ozarks came out. So this is season 4. And if you don't know what the Ozarks are, I'm not going to really tell you much about it, but except you need to watch. I will say that this first 7 episodes, um, great acting. It's just amazing. So if you're looking for something to watch, you can go binge watch 3 seasons and half of season 4 of the Ozarks. And also, if you hadn't seen this week's episode of Ghost, you definitely need to check that out. And finally, I am promoting Apple TV Plus. If you do not have Apple TV Plus, you definitely need to subscribe because they have the best content out there. And I have made a prediction that Apple TV Plus is going to surpass Netflix streaming very shortly, just because Netflix can't keep up, and the market is too wide for them to continue doing what they're doing. But Ozarks, Apple TV Plus. If you like M. Night Shyamalan, you need to watch Servant. Amazing thriller. So those are my picks of the week.
So I have so tell what is Ozark about? Like I've seen it for a while, but apparently it is heavy in these internet streets over the past couple weeks because I've seen a lot of people write posts about it. I still have not watched it. I saved it to my watch list. What is Ozark about?
Well, Ozark is it's about drugs, cartel, a little regular smuggler family out of Chicago who gets caught up in the life, and it's just super thriller. It got a good piece of chunk of rednecks in there, heroin. It's good.
I think I think I've watched it before. So wait, so a regular family, did they like go to like a hotel or
Where it
something
starts.
and some rednecks tried to rob them and then one
Yeah.
of them got killed. I did start watching that one time, but I never watched it beyond those like two or three episodes. Okay.
Look who we have.
Oh,
Look, look who it is.
with a special guest.
What up, man?
With a special guest. Ooh. All right, Roscoe, you gotta
Not
go.
today. Yeah, not today. Hey, Kyler.
Y'all, if y'all see my studio light flash a little bit.
Okay. You're welcome.
Welcome. So, Kelsey, we were talking about the show movie for the week. Do you have one to add?
The show movie for the week.
Yes, show or movie for the week. Yes.
List in Atlanta. Ladies Who List Atlanta.
Well, you like? I still haven't watched that.
I do like. Well, so right now I've only caught one episode. What's that? I've only caught one episode. The first episode, I'm already forming an opinion on Robin. I don't think I like her. She's coming off as a mean girl.
Okay.
She's very much so giving. I want to collaborate with women, but I don't like women. If that makes sense. Women have done me wrong. It's because, I've been done wrong by the women in my life. So right now they're setting the stage to try to formulate this powerful listing group amongst Black women and the selling lawyers. So it's 2 lawyers and I think it's about 4 realtors who are doing the top grossing sales for white companies in Atlanta. It's pretty good so far.
I'm going to watch at least one episode of that.
Yeah, you saying that made me think of Selling Tampa.
Oh yeah,
which is an all-female Black cast. It's good. It's like, to me, it's a good franchise to replace
real life is happening, y'all.
the Real Housewives of Atlanta.
So is selling Atlanta all Black cast too?
No, that's the
yes, it is. I live for all things Black. It is. Yes, all things Black.
And that's on OWN, and it's Ladies.
That is on OWN. And all Black station. Oh, my Black woman. Yes.
OWN is definitely changing their content.
They are. I was so happy when they started Carlos King in it a little bit.
Well, I wonder if it's about the relationship with because Tyler Perry is really, really moving forward with the BET Plus.
Yeah.
All right, so let's jump into it. So, Freddie, did you want to open with the topic that you wanted to discuss? Do you even remember what it was? We were talking last night. You was like, "Yes, we have busted open with this one."
I do not recall.
Okay, so we're gonna start it off talking about the whole lawsuit win for Cardi B versus the infamous gossip lady that's now delusional, Tasha K.
Not delusional.
Yeah, she is fucking delusional. Okay, so
I haven't watched her statement. I have to watch her statement.
It is. She is delusional. So no accountability. She even goes on to say that this was a machine that was working against her, and she never said that she lied. And she's I think she's also talking about taking it to Supreme Court.
Baby, don't waste your coin. Don't waste, because at this point the machine will come out and it will drain you. It will drain you.
And I'm like, ma'am, your husband is gonna leave you in a year and do a video called Surviving Tasha K, because she is delusional. So you walk away from a nearly $4 million judgment and you decide to get online instead of just saying, thank you guys for sticking by me during these difficult years. We're going to still keep pushing. You decide to say all of this crazy stuff and do it live.
Well, I think she has nothing to lose at this point, because it's already, the things that Cardi went after her for, those things have been settled. And so now she needs to find the money to pay this stuff off. So she's going to get lots of views, lots of hits. She's going to make millions of dollars to pay.
I'm glad you said that. Yeah. I am glad you said that, because she did brag about the fact that post was viral. But also now, because she did that post and it rubbed a lot of other people the wrong way, people are now reaching out to her sponsors saying that they need to pull a contract. So to date, Scentbird has announced that once her contract is over on March, they will not be renewing it and they will not be working with her again. And so people are now targeting other sponsorships that she had for her show Unwind with Tasha K, allegedly. So
That's really nice because I did see something where she left a review for the lawyer. Um, that thing had me cracking up.
hey, because that lady knew you was lying. That lady knew that you were
So
lying.
Kendra, for those of the people in the social media world, aka Nana, who don't really know who Tasha K is
Okay.
or what happened, can we give a little background context for who she is? Because
Yes.
she is on YouTube and nobody know who she is for real, but us.
Oh,
The
right.
blogger lady.
That she's a blogger lady that now she's known to tell a lie or two, but she basically she over the years she has gained a lot of notoriety and popularity amongst these streets for being a wino, which I will circle back to that. And so she's gotten some smaller level celebrities on her show. Basically, she's a YouTuber slash blogger slash podcaster. And she went on a Cardi B train for a couple years where she did over 40 videos talking about Cardi B and her vagina parts and what she was carrying and how she was raping people and how she had STIs and all kinds of things in the streets. And Cardi B, who is a rapper, married to one of the Migos, she filed a defamation lawsuit. I couldn't remember his name. Offset. She filed a defamation lawsuit against Tasha K for defamation and what was it, emotional distress. And give it up for Cardi B because she got on that stand. It was like I was depressed and I felt like I was an unfit mother and a wife. And this is the crazy part. In Tasha K's testimony, she said that she admitted that she made up those lies because she felt that Cardi B was rich enough to pay for therapy. This is on court record.
And it's on video. Like I've been seeing the videos come across my feed all day, and it really for me it just really highlights the negativity of the press. And when I guess when Cardi made that song press, it may have had something to do with this situation.
Mm-hmm.
And you making money off of people who want to use you for that. So I really feel bad and empathetic for celebrities or people who see them or anybody who's seen as a meal ticket,
Yeah.
because they don't see you as a human. They see you as this. It's weird how celebrity works. It's like you're not a real person.
You're a cash machine, baby, and I want your cash.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, it's so weird.
And that's how she did it. And that's how she viewed it. And it's crazy because I learned this today that apparently when she first started doing making these claims against Cardi reached out to her and asked her to take the stuff down. And of course, Tasha K was trying to take advantage of the opportunity. It was like, well, come on my show and tell me it's not true. And
Right.
of course, Cardi B was like, no. And that's when Tasha really ramped up on her I hate Cardi B train. And then went on in one of her other rants from yesterday, went on to say that this machine was promoting promiscuity for her, was promoting all kind of like, and I'm like, but first, ma'am, you are a gossiping, you are a gossiping influencer,
Yeah.
and you call your tribe the winos. You talk about liquor, like you are promoting alcoholism, but you stand here in this self-righteous rant to say that you were doing the good of the of the people, and you were not.
what good were you doing? She reminds me of MC Shaky, and he's one of those bloggers who has a hard on for Super and uh Big Booty Judy.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, sir, you got to give it up.
But I understand his hard on for them. At least like they have a commonality. They're from the same place. They know the same people. They run the same circles. I just never understood Tasha K's hard on for Cardi B. Like I never understood that.
It was about the money. That was it. It was clicks, likes, and views. And when you're in the business of traffic and you got a hot name and somebody you know is guaranteed to do that, that was it. She made lots of money off of dragging Cardi B into her stories. So I'm really proud of Cardi B for not reverting to that girl that she probably was when she was in New York and really stooping down. Like I applaud her for that, and I applaud for her for taking a white woman stance and getting on there and crying about her marriage and her sex life and how everything is affected. You got to know who your audience is and how to play to that, because that is a level of society that some people don't get. A lot of people get money, but they don't understand society and some of the values that people really hold dear. And when you start messing with people's marriages, you really done went up the wrong tree. So
Yeah.
I love it.
All right. So shifting focus here. So okay. Yesterday, between yesterday and today, a lot of popular online influencers have been using a tag to say, what is your most embarrassing sexual experience? Now, Furley, do you have one? Because I have some things to read from that, but also,
No, I don't.
also, but also, there was a comment made that blew my mind, and I wanted to talk about it. Kelsey, have you ever had an embarrassing sexual experience?
I plead the fifth on this here show.
Not tonight. Mm-mm.
Why not today?
We did that last 2 weeks. Let's go. What you got?
All right, so one of them was this guy. He bit her clit and then shook it like a pit bull. And I was like, I felt that when she wrote it. I felt that. One said the man's teeth came out his mouth while he was breathing on top of her. The teeth fell right on her collarbone.
Not the dentures.
Right on collarbone.
Yes.
Yes. One said her drawstring ponytail fell off while she was giving head.
That means she was doing what it was supposed to do. You know, that's awkward for men, right? Trying to help y'all get yourself back together.
Just leave it alone. Just we know it's off. Just let it be.
Just say it's okay, and just let us live our life, because at this point it's not even worth it. Oh, this one lady said that she didn't tell him that she suffers from what is it, seizures, and had a seizure in the middle of sex. It's so much so that she's like, her body stiffed up, and so she rolled off off the bed and hit her head. It was unconscious. When she woke up, he was gone because he thought he killed her.
Niggas ain't shit. Now, oh my God.
He left her there. He was like, I can't explain this. They ain't gonna believe me.
I didn't know she had this type of issue.
I have ran off on the plug in the middle of the night, but not because they stiffed up and had a seizure. No, come on.
Let's unpack that.
No. You fell asleep. I was done. I didn't want to wake up and be next to you, so I got up and left. Period.
One lady said she farted during anal and he stopped and she heard him sniff a couple of times.
What you know about that, baby? Woo!
So the one that got me was, this guy said that when he was in high school, they used to use, if they didn't have condoms, they used Ziploc bags. And I never knew that this was a thing. Well, apparently some other guys have chimed in and said that this was true. This was something that they kind of did. Now, Fred, had you ever heard about this? Because I have so many questions.
You know that back in the day, Pharrell was a holy roller and slept with a Bible on his chest, so he wouldn't know about what happened in high school.
Yeah, I did not.
I have never heard of
I
this
was
Ziploc
21.
feature.
No, he didn't have sex and he was a holy roller, but Pharrell was close to people that were not holy rollers and that was in them streets. Me. I'm talking about the boys because I ain't know nothing about.
No, they weren't using condoms at all.
Which I was aware of that. I mean, clearly, but but the Ziploc bags, like, that blew my mind. Like, how was that even comfortable for either party involved? Like, were they Vaselining it up? Like, if anybody is here tonight that has this experience or knowledge,
Well, now that I think about it, maybe it wasn't a Ziploc bag. Maybe it was a sandwich bag.
but still, like,
Sandwich
are
bags
you
Tied
are
it at the top
better.
or something. I don't know.
Sandwich bags are much thinner than a Ziploc. That hard plastic.
right?
Sandwich bags, you know, they don't have the Ziploc at the top and they're real flimsy. And they
That's what
just
I'm
kind of fold
saying.
at the top.
That's what
I
they
don't
put in
know.
the. That's what they bag the weed up with.
Period. And the crack. And the cocaine.
They put it in the corner and it.
And then they tear it off. Like,
abort.
I love the stream.
Furley, come back.
Come here. Oh, Kyla, stop copying me.
Y'all need to get to know Jesus.
I went to church.
That ain't what I said.
So okay, so guys, if you know anything about this sandwich bag or Ziploc bag fiasco, please let us know. And don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe for Last of the Millennials. We probably right. The next thing we want to talk about. So one of the topics that I saw this week, and it kind of ties into what we were talking about last week when it comes to in terms of sex. And last week we talked about cheating being a rich man's sport. So this week I wanted to ask the question: do women cheat more than men? And once a woman admits to cheating, a man never looks at that woman the same. But in reverse, women are more forgiving of men for cheating. So I once had a man tell me that being with a woman after she was with another man, I said, why can't you be with her? He said, will you eat a piece of candy somebody already had in their mouth? And I was like, that is not the same. But in his mind, it was. Farrelly, what are you saying? We can't hear you.
I'm just saying that once your flower has been deflowered, it's not
It was
fresh.
deflowered before you got here, boo.
But you don't know, like, so if you put on, like, we talked about this, but if you put on, like, or you come off as a woman who is not a lady of the streets, you can get it, like, belong to the streets, streetwalker, that, right? Oh, you know, there's a double standard when it comes to women and their sexual exploits, because you suck one dick and you a hoe, right? The same girl can have sex with every man in the friend circle of 5 friends, and they're gonna talk her down like a hoe. But they none of them, we not hoes. We just, she let us do it. And that's the thing with men. If you let us, we are. We're not gonna turn down a good time. But the woman is supposed to have the restraint. Is kind of the general.
To hell with that.
The
I
general
believe in
thought.
Mariah Lynn when she said, once upon a time, not long ago, I was a hoe. And I'm admitting it.
And we appreciate that. And she will never get past it. She will always be a hoe when she turn 100 and when she get buried and go on the ground.
And men still gonna get with her and still spin that bag.
Because she is a hoe. If Mariah Lynn gets married, I give y'all each $10. But I don't see it in the future ever.
It was recorded here. $10, y'all. So do you think women cheat more than men?
Hell yes.
Let's unpack that. Let's unpack this.
What are we unpacking there? It's an actual factual thing.
Now, factual, come on now. Because black women don't cheat.
Black women don't cheat.
Thank you.
Black women, they manipulate and scheme and scam and plot.
Scamming.
And honey, they'll have you 6 ways to Sunday if you're not smart. Men are stupid, and that's how y'all get away with it. But because your patterns don't shift, you know how to lie. You're master manipulators. Cunning, all of that. I mean, compliments to y'all, because once we find out and we hurt, We do, and like we can't take
Exactly. Y'all all broke up
we
and
done.
want to fall out, but we supposed to be okay when you out here sleeping with
You supposed to be
Tanisha,
grown.
LaShawn, Taniqua, and everybody else, and we supposed to stay here. But I mess with Jabbo down the street.
Not Jabbo.
Jabbo, that
You
street.
believe you a hoe? You're such a nasty,
Why would
slutty
you do that?
hoe.
And it's like, boy, you done
Girl,
had a whole family on the other side
you
of
ain't
town.
even got to mess with Jabbo. You could be seen with Jabbo, and you a dirty hoe.
Low down, dirty dog.
Spreading it low and spreading it wide. It's I know it's bad, but that's just kind of the way it is, and that's the way the world has been set up for women to have to maintain such a higher standard because you get to bear children, you get to do all these things that create life, and so you're supposed to be pure, you're supposed to be whole, and you either got to choose you're gonna be whole life or you're gonna be salt of the earth.
I want to be, Jesus in the streets and Satan in the sheets with multiple people. How about that? Period. Like, why can men do it, but women can't?
Women can do it, and they do it, but the key is making sure the person who you care about
Discretion is key.
that's all that matters.
Men don't have to have discretion.
Yeah, I don't understand why if a man has sex with 4 women, he the man, but if a woman does it, she's a strumpet. I just don't get it.
Ronald,
Why can't we mind our own loins?
Really a liar. He said you a liar.
Whoever Ronald is
not
on
true.
the attack. Pirelli is a cheater. Pirelli is a liar.
Now I can say I've never witnessed Pirelli cheat
or lie.
I don't cheat. Like if
he's too cold to lie.
He's way too cold.
He hurt your feelings when he lied to you.
Because I know he's gonna rip me a new one about this ponytail later, but baby, I love you for this.
Listen, you gotta tell the people you love the truth. And if I lie to you, I really care about you. But there are not a lot of people that I care about online too, because you need to know the truth. Because you need to hear it here first. But yeah.
So it with that, because typically it's said that cheating is in a man's DNA, but if women cheat more,
manipulation is in it.
Is it more or is it better? I think there's a difference. We got to unpack that. I think
not more.
I wouldn't say more. I just say better.
Really?
Both.
More and better. More better.
But it don't even matter. So that with men, it don't matter if it's more. It only have to happen once.
And they falling out like Mario Winans in the bathtub. I don't want to know, crying.
Girl ain't washed, ain't did nothing.
Listen, let's get your heart broke. I saw a post the other day on social media. It's like, yeah, man, I'm a killer. You mess with my heart, like I'm a shooter. Like
I saw that. It was like a thread going on.
Yeah, I mean, it's like their emotions when a man lets you in like that, it's something serious. A particular kind of man. I don't want to say it in this way, but it's probably the only way I can say it.
Mm-hmm.
A man of the streets, a thug, like it's one of them things that they don't know how to deal with, but that betrayal. Like I done showed you the inner parts of me, woman, and you will go out here and make me look like an idiot and stupid. So it's one of them things that.
Do you think it's because men aren't really allowed to be vulnerable? And so when they get to that space in life where they choose someone, is that why they hold on to that hoe in 3rd grade that cheated on the 5th grader?
I'll never forget when my girlfriend held hands with somebody else on the school field trip. You a hoe. You won't even. You just holding it like you holding his hand.
He was holding his hand.
That's how you knew you went together. You gotta know the cues. You can't just be out here holding and giving your hand to everybody.
Is that still on your heart? You still hurt?
Shannon Bullet.
Now you did not drop her name. He said, "I'll never forget her."
We got on the bus as boyfriend, girlfriend, and then by the end of the trip, she was with my best friend. Child.
So how you ain't say that to your best friend?
Nah, that's my dude.
Okay.
If you let him take you, then you the hoe.
He not loyal.
No, that's my boy. That's my boy.
Wow. Wow.
And that's in the third grade.
Wow. So this is deep rooted that with the suffering that y'all go through.
Yeah, betray you, betray me. Can't trust you. Can't trust nothing else that you did. Because how long? And then you think about the way y'all be doing it sometimes. It might be 5 or 6 years. Watching this, I was reading something from Six Brown Chicks the other day
Uh-huh.
about being a side chick, like 10-year relationships. Like it's wild. Like, and y'all would just be, I'm good, I'm good. It's amazing.
I do know someone who had a secret affair for like over 10 years. Yeah. That it got pretty interesting. So for your energy tonight for us women is a little off balance for me.
I'm sorry you feel like that.
No, you don't. You don't fucking care.
And we do not care. No, we do not care.
All right. So when it comes to as we pivot towards a different side of relationships, when it comes to holding your man down, so I saw this thing where, and I guess I want to apply it to both sides, where the conversation was how long, if your man lost his job, how long is your limit to hold him down? And I guess vice versa for women too. How long is the limit to hold him down?
He not behind bars.
No, he just lost his job.
Did it? What kind of job he had before that?
Is it is it 1 month, 2 years?
All this stuff needs to be contextualized.
Whatever your conditions are. So I'll give an example. So I had to be held down for like 6 months.
You're a woman. That's different.
I'm just saying. So now I don't know if I could do a 6 month hold down.
Is this your man, like, or is your husband?
Well, okay, so at this time when I had to be held down, this was a very serious like relationship. And I lost my job and it took me 6 months. Like I went on numerous interviews. It took me 6 months to recover. And so it wasn't as if like I wasn't actively applying, like I was doing a whole lot of stuff, like applying to several jobs a day, going to like meetings, going to networking. Like I was doing a lot and I was not, and the jobs that I was getting offered for where I lived at, it did not make sense for me to take that job for where I had to travel to and come back home and then do childcare. It just didn't make sense. So yeah, it took me 6 months to recover, but I was actively like trying. So
You're also a woman, and if that man is in your life, he's supposed to step up. Period.
okay, Kelsey.
Oh, I thought we had it. I would say, like, if we got an emergency fund, like husband, like I can give you up to a year, especially if you're trying. But now, if you just sitting your funky self on the couch and you ain't doing nothing, like, because we know how hard it is, like once you
Yeah.
get out of the rut of applying, you know what that looks like. But if you ain't doing nothing, nah, you got to go. Good sir, you got
So
to go.
for real, what's your limit for like? What's like? Do you have restrictions on how far you will go? It's a no. It's a no the whole way.
I don't have so a couple things. You lose your job. We have to talk about what's the plan, right?
Okay.
Are you planning to go do your own thing, hustle? Are you gonna look for another job? Um, so it has to be a plan. And I think 6 months is in this economy, you can get a job in 30 to 45 days or less because there's just a job waiting for everybody. But when the jobs were not as available, 6 months, 3 to 6 months is a general time to be like, all right, let's figure out what the next move is. So either you preparing to go get your real estate license or you're doing some things to get your skill sets reshaped to something else. Like there has to be a plan in place. So I give it 6 months. After 6 months, and you're not really you don't have anything to focus on, we have to revisit that. You know, but you do have to have a plan if you lose your job. And I should make enough money to support the both of us, but we need your income to invest and do all this other shit. So 6 months is where I'm saying like we'll have a real hard talk at 6 months and one day.
Okay. So basically, guys, we have a limit of 6 months to ride or die. Please put in the comments if you are ride or die or drop them off at their mama house because that's pretty much what this is giving. So let's pivot. Let's talk about religion for a second. So in trending topics for this weekend over the past couple weeks, there's been a lot of churchy stuff happening. So one, it was the pastor that went viral for whipping his congregants. They were laying on the floor in prayer. He was going around and whipping on them. There was what's the other? It was another pastor story I think last week for really. I can't remember.
Talking about spit on face.
Yes. Mike Todd with the on his brother's face. And then we have the Georgia pastor and his wife who is just like that. What's that movie where he was like, light a bitch, or light a hoe? Like, what was that? The Tyler Perry movie, the bad movie where she married the dude. And turns out his mom, Felicia Rashad, or his wife,
Yeah.
this was,
Netflix.
imitation to life. So a Georgia pastor and his wife were accused of false imprisonment of at least 8 people found in their basement. And the attorney came out and said the people were free to come and go as they please. But they were not. These people were seeking care, much like that movie. So it makes me wonder if that movie was actually based on these people. But it begs the question,
Or
like,
is this much so like what we accused R. Kelly of doing? But I digress.
But they won't fucking on these people now. Come
yeah,
on.
they was just taking their checks. They were just taking their checks. So it's like, I know us growing up, more so for you, Freely. I don't know if you was deep in the church, Kelsey, but I have oftentimes
I was
seen.
there sometimes.
Yeah, me too. It's seasonal. So I know sometimes I have seen where people, because they are people of the cloth, their parishioners or congregants will allow blindly a lot of unethical things to happen, a lot of morally challenging things to happen. Like, what is that? Like, I guess for at least for you, like, what is that about? Like, that I'm willing to follow. Well, I mean, because you have the most experience at the church. You have the most experience down there in that church. I listen, I've gone through seasons of church life and I've really adored some pastors, but never enough for them to guide my household or make rules up for my life. Like, no, I've never been that deep to stand there and let you do something crazy to me.
So it all comes down to this. Um, the black church is like an establishment in the community.
Okay.
And when black people could not do certain things, the church was the only place where they had some authority, where they had some integrity, where they had a sense of self. So when we see, the dressing up and honoring the pastor and all these things, like it was an honor to that was your space and place. And so I just think over the years, it has progressed and people have found ways to manipulate people in a much greater way because faith is one of them things that is really close to people. And so because they faith says do this, do that, you got to listen to your pastor, da 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 da. If you were not an educated person, what your pastor said was law. And it still exists today is that people listen to what the pastor says and they give them this like a blank check of trust and that whatever they say is in our best interest, so we should do it. Later on to find out that the pastor was still making money and sleeping with your husband. So you and even then it's like, well, you find a way to spiritualize it, right? Because there's no way that this representation of God would do this to me. But and it's really hard in that level of betrayal because you would literally do almost anything for these people because they're your spiritual leaders and all this stuff. So that's why it really exists. People put a lot of trust and stock into their faith, but now in this new millennia and folks who are more educated, we have a brain. And we were looking like, nah, bro, that ain't gonna work out for me. Like,
Yeah.
you could go somewhere with that bull. So it's still happening because this stuff kind of exists in various different ways. So yeah.
I think the first time that I actually really saw it was I remember being in school and one of our classmates wanted to join a club at the school, and their mother's response to them was, we're going to see if the pastor says okay. And I was like, the who? like and that was the first time, that really blew my mind, that the pastor who pays no bills here had, like, they govern the rules and they govern your household and have no daily involvement in your household, but even out to your children, you make decisions for your children based off of what your pastor says is okay.
Yeah, it's not even it's applicable to anything where you have a person that you believe has your best interest at heart,
Yeah.
that you kind of listen to them. So if you think about any of these cults that these people saw value in, whatever this leader said they would do, even to the point of drinking cyanide and killing themselves. So yeah.
So what is the most extreme thing that you guys have seen people do in following uh religious leaders?
I can't really relate because I always had this questioning spirit. Hold on. I thought someone was about to fall on the kid, but I was just waiting for it to topple over. So I always had this questioning thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we had an old pastor who was always like, study to show yourself approved, right? And really kind of had this fear mongering mentality. But I
Mm-hmm.
was always the inquisitive child, like, so God told me not to have respect to man. So really, I ain't supposed to listen to everything you say. So
Yeah.
I was kind of like the bucker of the bull. Like, I mean, I followed the shepherd who was over us, but I always had a question.
Right.
But the craziest thing I did see was a pastor who was trying to date me in college. And I was convicted by me and my relationship with Jesus, who's my cousin on my mama's side. Is he kin to you? Okay. But Jesus is my homie, right? And so I be getting convicted. And so I was like, I don't want to. I hold pastors to a certain level. And I was like, I'm still out here in these streets.
Yeah.
And your girl ain't about to send her soul to hell for messing with this pastor. But lo and behold, the pastor was sleeping with so many women in his church. Ended up going to the church, right? To visit. He had a really, really good message. Y'all, he took the church money, ran off, and built a church here in Raleigh that is still open to this day. Baby.
So
Put
that's
it
why you
in
all
the chat. Put it in the chat. Put it in the chat.
Will do.
yes. Now I wanna who is
Because
it?
now I want to know.
Now
Is it the church that I think it is? Put now, type now.
Oh, you built your church too?
put it in the private chat. So my family was a part of a church. And I've never been the one to like move for churches, but my family has done that. So my family's moved several times to be a part. The name of the church, please.
Yes.
Then they moved for a church, and then I remember they were all excited, and then I went to the church and I was like, yo, this is crazy. Ain't no way that y'all should be doing a part of this. I found out that the pastor had signed leases for most of the members of the church. They had control over who could live in the homes, and when they would kick people out of the church, they would threaten people.
Are you serious?
Private chat.
Do y'all know this man?
I don't know that name, but I know the church.
Baby. I just want to go to that church one day, but I don't want to get struck by lightning and say, if you are sleeping with this man, please rise.
Ooh.
I do.
Do you remember, Kendra, there was a book that came out about the pastor at Lewis Chapel?
Yes, I remember that. I never got to read it because it was about the Love Hotel across the street.
Yes, and they tore that hotel down behind it too. And I really want to get hold to that book, but I think they took it off the shelves.
Listen, I got to read it. Somebody had a copy, and I remember reading the one about the pastor at Lewis Chapel and how that woman said
Didn't he die?
he rearranged her goods and she had to go to the ER. And I was like,
All across the road from the church.
I said, okay. That was the time we was carrying our Sister Soldier books around the yard and the coldest winter ever and had no business reading that
I
stuff.
am on the church website.
Baby, he ain't no looker. And child, all I know is my childhood hairstylist was like, he really like, she's a really nice guy. Let him take you out. And baby, I did not. I was like,
If,
your girls.
let's put a pin in that. Somebody even encouraged you to let this man take you out as a teenager.
I wasn't a teen. I was in college. I was like junior year,
Oh,
senior year
okay.
of college.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then that ain't nothing wrong with that.
This is
Child.
it's some people on my timeline that heavily promote this church. Like they're heavy active members of this church. Like
And this is one in Raleigh.
mm-hmm.
He stole the money from the church of Fayetteville and built a church here in Raleigh.
He was never married, right?
No, but he has this thing about the women he sleeps with. So he ended up was talking to this girl that I went to college with at the same time. And when stuff hit the fan at the church, she had outed him on Facebook, and he has this thing about women tattooing his name on them, like on their panel, like baby. It's some people in the church whose name on them.
He asked them to do that.
Huh?
He asked them to do the tattoo.
I mean, he woos them. But your girl ain't no fool, and he won't keep neither.
Well, he from New York, child. So that's one.
It ain't that much wooing, ain't
one strike.
That's I have a theory. You were very strong. I have a theory about church women. So yeah.
So
like I told you, I was in church, but my conviction of this is a man of the cloth, Kelsey. Your little fast tail cannot correct this man, and I'm glad he didn't. He won't talk to me. He won't even get me. He want nobody I was gonna look back in the street at. So I was like, ooh, no way.
Them the best ones.
Whew, hey, okay.
But truth be told, it's a lot of ugly men in church who have power and influence that are using it to take y'all panties off.
I think, but that only works for the women who care about that church power and influence. I've never cared. Like I don't. Oh, he the bishop.
Well, child, you was pregnant by one. Let the people tell it.
Penny, the traumas of the church. We'll talk about that next week. The traumas of the church, Penny, and what they will do to you. So you got to go. Okay, so
it's a lot because you think about this whole thing here with leadership, people in leadership positions abusing the power that they have and the access, because it's just not girls. It's gay preachers, gay male preachers molesting little boys, doing the same thing little girls, doing it to adults. Like nobody is exempt when a person has this much influence and power over people's lives, and nobody feels like they can check them because they're a man or woman of God, and that has been the root cause of why Christianity has gotten such a bad rap. Is this hierarchy? We treat this human person like God, and in this group I'm in. I've seen 2 posts this week. It was like the enthronement and something else, something in Africa. It is just like the way. It was like I think an installation service or something, but they named it the installation and enthronement. Like we're putting this person in a throne, in a seat of power, and I get it. But when people look at it, it's like, what are y'all? Y'all doing the most for the least, and just the imagery that it gives. It'd be like, this is weird. Why y'all being so weird?
So do you think, just real quick before we close on that, do you think when they are abusing their power, that's a form of like they're sleeping with women as a form of deception?
Yeah, it's that, but they don't think that the person sleeping with them is not getting something out of it either.
Well, no, I'm not saying that, but it's there. So the reason that made me think of that is because I saw something interesting in my wee hours of the morning scrolling, and and it was about the true definition of what rape is. Um, and a part of the definition of rape that people often leave out, which I wasn't even aware of, and I actually had to look it up, Merriam-Webster, is the last little piece in there. It is obtaining, like, sexual activity, and the last piece is by deception, so by lying or deceiving someone that they're going to get something by having a relationship with you, whether it's sexual in nature, by deception. So
I say rape and coercion have a very, very thin line. Very thin line. Because there are women who were coerced into having sex by way of deception, and they feel like I would not have made this decision or consented to having sex to you, or I didn't verbally consent to you, and we ended up having sex because of this, that, and the third. So I think that last line kind of teeters along the line of coercion.
right. Really have anything? Or no?
No.
All right. So I guess we'll unpack a little bit more of this deceptive church practices next week. And I'm gonna go do some research on the church and pastor that's told about it.
You do not have to do no research on that church or pastor. Let it be.
We can listen.
My investigative hat is on tonight.
What you gonna ask? Are you unless you're gonna go with me to the church and say, if you are sleeping with this here man
tonight on Last of the Millennials, as we investigate. Honey, I'm already knee deep. I'm knee deep in. We are going to look into this, and we can attend. I don't go to church, but we can go to that one because
you want to be on our
I'm
podcast?
Sure if I walk in at church, who will think he saw a ghost? If I walk up to him and be like, "Hey, such and such, hey, pastor, such and such,"
and that's fine. You gonna walk with your head high, and we gonna walk in. I'm like,
"Oh, baby, I ain't sleep with you, sir."
So, how many concubines do you have currently, sir? And on that note, guys, thank you so much for joining us tonight, Last of the Millennials. We're probably right. Remember to follow us on all social media platforms and like, subscribe, and share. And as always, join us and comment and join us on our lives. The link is always available. We love to interact with you guys. And if you have any thoughts or suggestions, please feel free to DM us and we will be responding back to you. So thank you again. We love y'all. See you next week.